Dear students and friends, we'll start with the prose part of the 10th standard first language English. The first lesson, very important prose lesson written by Rabindranath Tagore. Before going to the lesson, we will have a small discussion on the topic which has been highlighted in the lesson. All human beings believe in life after death. So what is this life after death? No one has seen it or no one has experienced it and reported anyone back. But even then, we believe there is a life after death. So that is what we all keep telling. That is, after death, a man may go to hell or heaven depending on the life that he has led. Now when it comes to heaven, most of us believe that it is a life when you are very truthful before death or you lead a very dedicated life. So thus we feel that life in heaven is a beautiful life, or you can also call it as a fantasy life. You enjoy a lot or you get everything whatever you might not have experienced in your actual life. Or you can also tell that this life you might have read in a story or you might have seen it in the film, and that is what is your imagination about paradise. Now in this lesson you have a paradise wherein the people are still hard workers there after their death, and their life is something different than what imagination we have about the paradise. And there you also experience a different type of life of a man who is not at all fit to that paradise, that is a worker's paradise. Today we will deal with the lesson that is written by Rabindranath Tagore, A Wrong Man in the Worker's Paradise. Before going to the lesson, we will know about the writer. You all know Rabindranath Tagore is an Indian writer, and he is well known to all of us because he is the writer of our national anthem. Concentrate on the few points that is given in your textbook. Note on the author. Rabindranath Tagore, 1861 to 1941, is our national poet. He had a multifaceted personality. He was not only a great poet but also a genius in music, painting, acting, choreography, etc. That's why he is called as the multifaceted personality. He was the first Indian to receive the Nobel Prize. He was awarded the honor in 1913 for his Geetanjali, a collection of poems. So you come to know that he is a poet and also a writer. That's why we call him a great poet and also a writer, and we all are very much linked with him because we sing the national anthem daily in our school assembly or our national festivals. Thus the poet is very close to the teachers or the students, and it's really great to read one of his prose item. Now we'll concentrate on the lesson. Concentrate on my reading of each paragraphs. A Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise, written by Rabindranath Tagore. You all should concentrate a lot on the name or the title of the lesson and the writer. It is important when it comes to your exam, and also to identify the different aspects when it comes to the lesson. Concentrate on the reading. The man had never believed in mere utility. Having had no useful work, he indulged in mad whims. He made little pieces of sculpture, men, women, and castles, quaint earthen things dotted over with seashells. He painted. Thus, he wasted his time on all that was useless, needless. People laughed at him. At times, he vowed to shake off his whims, but they lingered in his mind. The language used is simple, and once you read, you get to know the meaning. Even then, we have to go for line by line explanation. The man had never believed in mere utility. A special person in this workers' paradise. The man is referred to the same person. He had never believed in mere utility. He never bothered about any useful result. That is utility, useful result. He never believed in that. He never bothered. He never wanted any useful result from whatever he did. The work he did, he always enjoyed. So thus he becomes a special person in the workers' paradise. Having had no useful work, he indulged in mad whims. Here you come to know that he was a person where he did not find any useful work in that paradise. And what did he do for that? He indulged in. Indulge means involved. He involved in mad whims. What is this mad whims? Why is it called as mad whims? That is very important. Whims, the meaning is given here. Whim, sudden desire. As he did not have any work in the workers' paradise, he used to indulge in some work of his interest. And that is why it is called as mad whim in that workers' paradise. What is this mad whim? You will come to know in the further paragraphs. So, he used to indulge in mad whims. Now, there is one example of his work. See there, he made little pieces of sculpture. So, you get a link here. So, he used to do little pieces means small items of sculpture. So, what is this sculpture? So, it is this things that is related, or it was a small items made out of mud or earthen items. That is what is called as sculpture. He used to make items, that is men, women, castles, and it was of quaint earthen things. So, it was made out of mud. And what is the meaning of the word? Quaint, it is fanciful. So, all attractive one used to make and used to decorate it. Used to decorate it with the seashells. So, this is one of his work or one of his interests. He painted. He not only did this, but he also painted it. So again you are getting a clue about what he is. So before death, he was a artist. Even now, once he came to the paradise, even there he is interested to do his work, that is painting or doing the sculptures. Thus, he wasted his time on all that was useless, needless. See, this is his interest. That was his profession. But see the point here. Thus, he wasted his time on all that was useless and needless. His work is considered as useless and needless, but it is his interest. So we have to concentrate on all these points. Now, which is useless and needless means related to the paradise or related to the people there. It was useless and needless. People laughed at him. So people were laughing at him. They were confused to see him doing all this work. At times he vowed to shake off his whims, but they lingered in his mind. Sometimes he used to just try to put it out. Shake off means try to get out of it. Get out of what? Out of his whims, his fancy or his fanciful work. He wanted to come out of that, but that work lingered in his mind. Lingered means it kept on coming, or you can see the meaning here. Linger, to stay at a place for longer time. All his work, all his desire or all his fancy work, it stayed in his life or in his mind for longer time, because that was his work or that was his profession. So this is the mindset of the man, and he has come to the paradise, that is the paradise of workers, and how these workers are reacting to his work and how is he considered, that we'll get to see in the next paragraphs. Some boys seldom ply their books and yet pass their tests. A similar thing happened to this man. He spent his earth life in useless work, and yet after his death the gates of heaven opened wide for him. But the moving finger writes even in heaven. So it came to pass that the aerial messenger who took charge of the man made a mistake and found him a place in workers' paradise. In this paradise, you find everything except leisure. Here, men say, God, we haven't a moment to spare. Women whisper, let's move on, time's a flying. All exclaim, time is precious. We have our hands full. We make use of every single minute. They sigh complainingly, and yet those words make them happy and exalted. Now the line by line explanation. Here you have a beautifully explained paragraph which is related to many of the students in their educational way of life. Some boys seldom ply their books and yet pass their test. So there are many boys or even the girls seldom ply. What is this ply? That is to refer or read. Seldom. Seldom means not usual. Sometimes. Their books and yet pass their test. They don't continuously read. They go on reading whenever they are interested, but even then they pass the exam or test. A similar thing happened to this man. That is the man who has come to the workers' paradise. He spent his earth life in useless work. Means whatever work he has done, it is considered as useless. And yet, after his death, the gates of heaven opened wide for him. Even though his work is considered useless, the gates of the heaven has opened to him, have been opened, and he has come to the heaven. Now you come to know, this is the life after death of the person here referred, and his work is considered useless, but he has come to the heaven here. But the moving finger writes even in heaven. So moving finger, it is the fate or destiny. So that also has changed his life. So now you come to know, how did he come to this heaven? How was he brought there? So first of all, you get to know that it is because of his destiny. Destiny has made him to come to this paradise. So it came to pass that the aerial messenger who took charge of the man made a mistake and found him a place in workers' paradise. So one is his fate, and how the fate has played this situation or created this situation, that is through the aerial messenger. Aerial messenger is the God's messenger, or the person who is assigned the work of bringing people to heaven or hell. Now it is his mistake. What has he done? It was his mistake, or he has brought this person to the workers' paradise. So why is this a mistake? Again, all this will be known with the further paragraphs. In this paradise, you find everything except leisure. See, this is the main point. This is a paradise where you get everything, or whatever imagination you have about the paradise, everything is available, but you can never get leisure. You cannot enjoy or sit quietly without doing any work. So that is the main aspect you have to concentrate. Here, men say, God, we haven't a moment to spare. So what does the men in the workers' paradise tell? They don't have a moment to spare. Even a single minute or a second to spare, to be free. They don't have that much of time. What do the women say? Women whisper. Whisper is to speak very softly. Let's move on. Times are flying. So they keep telling that let's move on. Move on is to keep going or keep doing your work. Move on. So move on here is the usage of phrasal verb. Keep times are flying means time is moving very fast. All exclaim. Again, what do they exclaim? Exclaim is to tell in a surprised way, or sometimes you can also tell in a very sad situation. Time is precious. So they give so much of importance to time. They tell time is very precious. We have our hands full. We have our hands full. Hands full. Again, it is a phrase wherein they tell they have lots of work. See, concentrate on the meaning of these words. Hands full. You can go for the literary meaning, that is full. Something is full in your hands, or you have lots of work. We make use of every single minute. They sigh complainingly. So they want to make use of every single minute, and you also feel that they are telling it as a complaint. Sigh complainingly. Sigh is to take a deep breath and tell something. Here the word complainingly means something as a complaint they are telling, and yet even telling it in a way of complaint, and yet they are ready to do their work very interestingly or happily. Yet those words make them happy and exalted. What's the meaning of the word exalted? Here it is very interested, or they are ready to do the work. But this newcomer who had passed all his life on earth without doing a scrap of useful work did not fit in with the scheme of things in workers' paradise. He launched in the streets absently and jostled the hurrying men. He lay down in the green meadows or close to the fast flowing streams and was taken to task by busy farmers. He was always in the way of others. A bustling girl went every day to a silent torrent, silent since in the workers' paradise even a torrent wouldn't waste its energy singing to fill her pitchers. The girl's movement on the road was like the rapid movement of a skilled hand on the strings of a guitar. Her hair was carelessly done, inquisitive, wisp peeped often over her forehead to peer at the dark wonder of her eyes. But this newcomer is a man, the wrong man, who had passed all his life on earth without doing a scrap of useful work. So he was a person who had not done any work. Scrap means a small piece, a bit of work that was useful. He was never doing it because his work itself was a different one. He did not fit in with the scheme of things in workers' paradise. Because of his life that he had spent on the earth, which was completely different, he could not fit in. Fit in is nothing but adjust. Again, a phrasal verb. He could not get adjusted, or people there in the workers' paradise did not get adjusted to him. Thus, he was not considered one among them. Thus, he could not adjust to the scheme in the workers' paradise. Scheme is the way of life there. He launched in the streets absently and jostled the hurrying men. So, he used to just go about. Launch is sit in a lazy way. Sit in a lazy way. Then he used to just go on jostle, that is bump against something. So you can tell him, or you can consider him as an absent-minded person, because he used to never feel or see something that used to be in front of him. Suddenly used to go and bump to that or dash. So this is what his life. And he used to go and dash to the people who are in hurry. Means the people there were very busy with the work. He lay down. One more phrasal verb. Lay down is nothing but to lie down or sleep. In the green meadows. Meadow is a piece of land with grass, or close to the fast flowing streams. So he used to go to the side of, or to the bay of the fast flowing streams and used to sleep there or lie down there, and was taken to task by busy farmers. So the people there used to always go on taking him to task. Why was he taken to task? Because the farmers there felt that this person was not doing any work. He used to sleep, he used to lie down, but his interest was to enjoy the nature, because he was an artist, and that always lighted up in his work. But no one understood this, but they thought that he is wasting his time. Taken to task means people used to tell him that he is not doing a proper work, or he was told to do some work. Taken to task is an idiom. He was always in the way of others, used to disturb others. That is why he is told that, or he is referred as used to always come in the way of others, disturb people. A bustling girl went every day to a silent torrent. So there was a girl in the paradise who was always busy, who used to always be on the tip of her toe, means she used to be always busy. So she used to go to the silent torrent. Why is this torrent called as silent, and what is this torrent? Torrent is a stream of water, and the meaning of the word bustling, full of activity. So this torrent, that is also referred as silent, silent torrent. Why is it called as silent? Silent, since in the workers' paradise, even a torrent was not ready to waste its energy singing. Means the flowing of the water, you always feel it as a music, you enjoy if you are a nature lover. But that sound is also not allowed there, or the torrent was not ready to waste its energy. So why was the girl going to the torrent daily? To fill her pitchers. Pitcher, it's a large jug, or you can also call it as an earthen pot used to fill water. So she used to be very busy. The girl's movement on the road was like the rapid movement of a skilled hand on the strings of a guitar. So how she used to move is very fast. So it is compared. So here you can see the usage of figure of speech, that is simile. The movement of the girl is compared to the movement of the skilled hand of a person who is very good in playing guitar. So skilled person, you might have observed. So how fast the fingers move, and you get very melodious music to listen, and thus her movement is compared to the movement of the fingers of a skilled person who plays guitar very melodiously. Her hair was carelessly done, means it was tied carelessly. Inquisitive wisp peeped often over her forehead. Inquisitive is a person or who is very interested. So inquisitive wisp, what is this wisp? It is nothing but a bundled or mass of hair here. Wisp is mass or a bundle, you can call it as, but here it is mass of hair from her head, or the carelessly done head. It used to peep out, and it used to come over her forehead to see, peer is to see at the dark wonder of her eye. So it wanted to know something, or it used to peep out on the forehead, and it was above the eye, which was always trying to know something. Wonder, wonder here it is, which is very surprised, or which is always interested in knowing something new. The idler was standing by the stream. As the princess sees a lonely beggar and is filled with pity, so the busy girl of heaven saw this one and was filled with pity. Ha! She cried with concern, "You have no work in hand, have you?" The man sighed, "Work? I have not a moment to spare for work." The girl did not understand his words and said, "I shall spare some work for you to do, if you like." The man replied, "Girl of the silent torrent, all this time I have been waiting to take some work from your hands. What kind of work would you like? Will you give me one of your pictures, one that you can spare?" She asked, "A picture? You want to draw water from the torrent?" So the conversation between the girl and the man. The idler is called as an idler, a person who is idle, doesn't do any work, or a lazy man, was standing by the stream, by the side of the stream. As a princess, the girl is compared to a princess, sees a lonely beggar and is filled with pity. So the girl who is considered as a princess, she is seeing the man and he is called as a lonely beggar and she is filled with pity. Pity is concern or sympathy. So the busy girl of heaven saw this one and was filled with pity. So by seeing the man, she was filled with pity, and see the comparison of the writer, the way he has presented the lines. She cried with concern. So she is calling him. So she is referring him and with lots of concern she is calling him. "You have no work in hand, have you? Don't you have any work in hand?" means don't you have any work to do? The man sighed. Again a deep breath taken by the man, and he tells, this is something different for him. What is she asking? He is completely astonished. Work? I have not a moment to spare for work. Completely a different meaning or answer given by him. He is telling, work? What are you asking? I have not a moment to spare for that. What you call it as work? I don't have time for that. The girl did not understand his words and said, I shall spare some work for you to do if you like. She is again completely confused because the words what he has told, it did not go to her mind. So she tells, okay, then I shall spare some work for you if you are interested to do it. The man replied, girl of the silent torrent, the reference, girl of the silent torrent, means she keeps going to the torrent daily. So he refers her as girl of the silent torrent. All this time I have been waiting to take some work from your hands. So he is telling all this time, means whenever she came there to the torrent, he used to be there nearby the torrent and he was waiting to take some work from her hands. Means he wanted to do some work related to that girl, or he wanted to ask her something. What kind of work would you like? So she is asking him, will you give me one of your pictures, one that you can spare? So he is asking, are you ready to give me one of your pictures? Pictures means a large jug, one of your pictures. Can you spare it to me? Give it to me. She asked, a picture? You want to draw water from the torrent? You want to draw water from that torrent? Is that the work you are expecting from me? Do you want to draw water? Are you asking the picture for that? The girl is asking him a question whether he is interested to draw water from the torrent, and even she is in a confused state. Okay, we'll continue this lesson in the next part.